Hi and welcome to AFTV. You've joined myself, Cecil Jee, and James B. here on the pre-match build-up show, looking ahead of today's game against West Brom. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I don't know what time it is where you guys are watching from, but over here it's the evening. Yeah, let's get. James, how are you? How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited for another game. I was trying to low-key troll some United fans when I said I tweeted that if we win, we'd go joint 11th and we'd be 3 points off joint 5th. Obviously, because Man United are joint second now.
Yeah.
Sorry, joint second, joint first. Apparently, you share the title, but anyway. Anyway, I tweeted it and it flew over everyone's head, and people were trolling me back. So hey ho. Sometimes it's better to keep your mouth shut, isn't it?
How funny that I trolled United fans today as well.
Did you?
Yeah, listen, I've found that someone sent me this stat. United 33 pens in 59 games. United have won only 2 games this season where VAR hasn't got involved in a winner. 2 from 10 wins. Now, I don't know how much truth that has in it, but how big of a bite the United fans gave me when I messaged them, it was unbelievable.
On Twitter, was it? Or
no, I've got WhatsApp groups of people get me and Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
I put that in and they did not like it. But
yeah, fair enough.
I just wanted to just say, VAR's giving you a helping hand, but they weren't having it. They weren't having it.
Do you know what? I think it's because we'll move on from them in a sec, but I think it's because I don't know that many Liverpool fans. I know a few, but not that many. So when they're winning and doing really well on Man City, they just go about their day.
Yeah, you don't hear from
them. I'm all right. But when United are not even top of the league, but near it, or they've won a few games, it's the loudest thing. Shout out to some of my United mates. I love them and the banter's great. But there's no doubt that it's insufferable when they're doing well. But what I will say, though, to turn into a positive is if you look at where they were when we beat them, they then went to lost in Istanbul. And people were saying, Ollie out, it's done. Even some of the most diehard United fans are like, I'm done. Ollie's not taking us anywhere. And look at the run they went on. It just shows you we could be at the beginning of we're at the very beginning of potentially and hopefully a good run. It just shows you how much you can climb when you put a few wins together.
Legit. I think they haven't lost since the loss to us.
No, well, not in the league, have they? Yeah, they lost a few. They lost the Champions League match, and obviously they fell into the Europa League with us. So yeah, but anyway, let's get into the Arsenal stuff.
Exactly that. Now, before we start, you know me, I like to read the comments. I see you guys before. I found a nice little comment here, which I actually very much agree with. So this one here, thank you very much, Scotty22. He says, just let Smith Rowe, Saka, Martinelli do their bits tonight and we'll win 4-0. Very optimistic, but this is the energy I need for today. Because remember in the pre-match review, the pre-match review of this, I was like that I expect a high-scoring game. As much as Big Sam's coming in, he might keep it tight at the back. I want to see the youngsters just go and get an early goal and just take the game to West Brom. So hopefully we see a lot of that tonight.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if we get anything like a 4-0. I'll be honest. But
I know.
Right. Shall we look back at Brighton? It feels how long ago was that? Oh, God.
James, every day is a blur, bro. I don't even know. I can't believe
it's Saturday today, right? Is it?
It's Saturday? It's Saturday, yeah. Is it Sunday? No, it's Saturday. Tomorrow's Sunday.
I genuinely... the Christmas period is carnage.
Yeah.
And because the football schedule's carnage, people are like, I'll see you Friday. I'm like, whenever that is. Obviously not down. Therefore, I'm in lockdown. Obviously, must get out there. But, around this time, people will be like, oh, should we meet up Thursday evening? I'm like, whenever that is, yeah, sure. But anyway, we did beat Brighton. And I wanted to have a little look at a particular moment from the Brighton game where I thought we did quite well. It came in the second half, obviously. There were 2 moments. I don't want to talk about the goal. The reason I'm not going to talk about the goal is, I'll be honest, it's not a lot to analyse. Bukayo Saka, a brilliant turn, runs a third of the pitch, maybe a bit more, squares it to Lacazette. It's a lovely, lovely goal. And what was so impressive about it was that Bukayo Saka was being given such a physical ride in the first half by, was it Byrne? I forgot his first name. The Brighton left back or left wing back or whoever it was.
Yeah, all like 6 foot something crazy tall Burn, yeah,
Yeah. And he was really getting like tight to Saka, make it very difficult. And Saka was winning fouls from it, but that's kind of not the point. They probably fancied themselves on set pieces, Brighton. So the point was he was disrupting our flow. Saka with a brilliant bit of skill gets us in behind. Well, in behind, gets us running at their back four or back three, whoever, whatever it was, square to Lacazette, who scores. Now, that was what it was. But there were two moments before that goal that I just want to look at, and I've tried to recreate it in the old tactical pad again. We've got it here. Bless. It's out of use. It's sitting here just sort of waiting for us to be reunited in the studio.
Yeah, and James, sorry to cut you. Just on that, everyone, cut you as well, guys. As you can see, clearly, I forgot to say at the beginning, we are quarantining still. The office got hit with the Rona, so we are currently quarantining. We apologise for the analysing not to be at the level that you guys expect to be able to build your 11s and break down goals in recreation. But again, this is what we have to make do with. We'll be back very soon. I believe we finish. I think tomorrow our 10-day or yeah. I think it's. I believe it's.
Yeah, we'll see. But we will be back. Don't you worry. But in the meantime,
we've been tested as well.
Yes, very true, very true. And everyone seems to be doing all right, which is the important thing. So without obviously the power of Brennan in the studio, big up Brennan, we're obviously having to rely on what we can do from here. But let's look at this first bit of movement. I'll try to describe it as best as possible. Now, this came in the second half. This led to the Aubameyang sort of point blank save. Don't know if you'll remember it. Well, I'm sure most of you would. Basically, there's a nice moment where Martinelli has the ball and he feeds in Saka, who squares it to Aubameyang, and it's saved by the keeper at point blank range. Some felt Aubameyang could have done better. Some felt he did the right thing, which is getting the contact, and it was just a fairly lucky save. But there's a couple of things I want to point out here. Now, the first thing is Martinelli getting that ball quite deep. He's not right hugged out on the touchline. That's the first thing I like. Smith Rowe's close to him. I like that too. And then Bukayo Saka's made the run from the right wing. I don't know if he's come directly from the right, but he was the right winger for the game. And he ended up making the run beyond Martinelli. Now, I love the fluidity. I know you can look at that and say, that's unbalanced. What's everyone doing on one side of the pitch? But we sensed an opportunity where space had opened to get in behind and make something happen. And Bukayo Saka makes that run from sort of right to left, down the outside, and uses his left foot to put a wonderful ball into the box. And it was just an example of what we didn't have in the first half, where suddenly we looked like there was fluidity. Suddenly there was something about our game. There was an unpredictability. There was a change of direction. We changed what Brighton were expecting of us. And then there was another moment in the second half, again before the goal, where we did a similar thing. And this is, I think, why we sort of came alive and why we looked better in the second half of the match. This time it's Smith Rowe who's picked up the ball on the left. Lovely bit of skill to come inside and then, basically carries the ball slightly and flicks it into Martinelli, who's made a run into the box. By this point, by the time it gets to him, Martinelli, Aubameyang and Saka are all in the box, which is great. You want to see that. The other thing I love about this, though, is, again, we're mixing it up. Smith Rowe, who was the number 10, popping up in all sorts of pockets, I thought had a really good game. He came out wide, and it allowed Martinelli to get inside and ask a different question of their defenders. And these were just two moments where I felt, more so than what we did for the goal, which I thought was a bit of individual brilliance from Saka, I really liked the way we just, that three behind Aubameyang, let's call him the four, just started asking completely different questions of Brighton. And I think if we're going to have any success today, we're going to need that same unpredictability from them. It's what helped us beat Chelsea. And it's what I think made us far more dangerous and have that great second half against against Brighton, where we had 10 shots in one half. So, yeah, I just thought that was my main takeaway from that Brighton second half in particular. Yeah,
no, James, that was good analysis. Thank you for that. Thank you for the time and putting in, making up the graphics and trying to break it down for them without having the actual pad. Hope you guys could clearly see, and it's a good little reminder to go back to that game anyway, because again, we saw something different. Like you said, the youngsters getting involved. We want to see a lot more of it today. Whether he'll rest the players is, again, I think it still is the big question. Will he rest some players? Does Aubameyang start over Lacazette? I think there's still question marks over it. But what we saw from the youngsters against Brighton was was class. So I hope to see more
They
of them.
looked inventive and instinctive and natural, didn't they?
Yeah,
Like
they did.
one of our biggest criticisms of this Arsenal team under Arteta has been how there's a lack of impulsivity. Is that even a
Yeah.
word? There's a lack of just like doing something because it feels right.
Yeah.
You know? Do you know what I mean? And I think this team have lacked that. And against Brighton and Chelsea, well, the second half against Brighton, we did have that. So, I mean, fingers crossed, we see that again today. Because it's going to be very, very interesting to see what kind of West Brom we get and what kind of Arsenal come out. I mean, what 11 will we have? You know, we talked about this in the preview.
I'm actually really excited today. Like really excited just to watch Arsenal from. Yeah, I'm going to be critiquing and doing the normal stuff that we normally do and over analysing. But I'm excited to see that West Brom, being a big Sam West Brom, they're going to be difficult. They're going to be difficult to break down. And in my opinion, what I've seen of Arsenal, we've struggled to break teams down when it comes to the final third. So I think hopefully the youngsters being involved, like the Smith Rowes, we can see what we hope to see the future Arsenal look like. Because I feel like Arsenal should be bringing in a creative midfielder. I don't know. We don't know yet. There is transfer daily, so keep an eye on that. We'll be up to date with all the transfer. But if a creative midfielder comes in, from today we should be able to see what Arteta's how he's gonna implement the new creative midfielder by having Smith Rowe in and hopefully training this week, showing him how we're gonna break down this big Sam West Brom. So I'm excited just to see the challenges that we're gonna face there and how we're gonna overcome them. That's
and we do have a, I'm not going to say easy because there's no easy run in the Premier League, but we have a favourable run of games in which we can try and iron out these things. So we've seen Seb Kolasinac is off. Heavy rumours that Socrates could be gone. Whether Ozil goes, there's a lot of links. There's a lot of suggestions that teams are after him. So this is a good run of fixtures to worry about that. If that makes sense. If we can just get through today, I say it every game, you know, put 3 wins on the bounce, and then suddenly there's impulsivity is a word. I just saw that comment. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, every game's crucial, and we hear it every stream. Robbie says it. We say every game we're like, it's a must win. It's a must win. And you know, the reality is it's not a must win, because if we lose, it doesn't mean Arteta's out. It doesn't mean our season's over or whatever. But what I think the reason we say it is because we're so desperate for a bit of form. We're so desperate for a bit of a run. Do you know what I mean? So this is the interesting question there. Sorry, from ABQP. Is there a stat of Big Sam versus Arsenal? No, there isn't. But we have done some analysis on Big Sam. Shall we go into it?
Yeah, let's move forward into the Big Sam, because I found this very fascinating. I didn't get to see much of it because James has been away studying his numbers, and yeah, I'm excited to see this one, James. So let's go into it. Do you want to pop up?
Let's go into it. So I know this is AFTV, it's an Arsenal channel, but I think one of the things me and you went away and chatted about, Cecil, was saying that we want to actually use this show in particular to talk about other clubs. Now I know we've got a lot of other club fans coming in the comments and trolling us or whatever, which is fine. It's jokes. I enjoy it. But also, you know, other clubs are doing their thing, and it's kind of important to look at them and look at what we're coming up against and have a really good understanding. Now, the reason I chose to look at Big Sam, and you'll see the stats I brought up in a second, is we have all said that Arteta needs time. And I don't mean right now. Some people might have said it back. Oh, I've knocked the mic. Some people might have said it back then, back when we hired him. I said that I thought Arteta needed time. Right now, I've been a bit 50-50. But at some point, every fan said, well, this manager needs time, blah, blah. But Big Sam seems to get results immediately. I mean, he has immediate impacts on teams. I know he just lost 5-0 to Leeds, but I want to bring up this stat here if you just have a little look. So this is the last 4 clubs that Allardyce took over mid-season. So they sacked their manager and they brought Allardyce in half as the season already begun. And this was their average points before and their average points after his appointment. Now, may I just say, I number crunched this all myself. Okay, it took me ages, but it was good fun. And I think it really sort of tells you something about him and kind of why, when me and you were doing the previews and when we're analysing West Brom ahead of today, kind of no point looking that far back or looking back at all, because how do I put it? Because kind of what they did before is irrelevant now. He's not going to try and build on that. He's not going to try and take what they did further. For example, they played a back three a lot before, but he's always played a back four. In the last few games, they've played a back four with a midfield five. We'll look at that more in a sec. But what I'm saying is, what the best thing to look at is what Allardyce does really well, and that is getting organised, set pieces, and trying to just take a chance and nick the win.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, he's very, very, very. Would you say he's defense? Would you say he's? Would you say he's? Sorry, I'm thinking about Mourinho's style. I'm thinking about Big Sam's style. Now Mourinho's a bit more. His execution is a bit more clinical, and he has better players, and there might be a bit more tactical nous to it. But Big Sam, when you look at his teams, they soak up pressure, and they just try and scrape a win. They play the ugly football, and I feel that's kind of what Tottenham are doing at the moment. Yeah, albeit they haven't pulled over some great results recently.
Allardyce plays very ugly football.
Yeah.
And he will be the least apologetic person on the planet about it. You know, he does not care. He absolutely does not care about the way his team plays. He just wants to get results, and he knows how to do that. And after the longest intro of all time into this graphic, I can now pick it off. And this proves it. When he took over Blackburn, they were averaging 0.76 points per game, 1.3 for the rest of the season. By the way, this isn't the year after. This isn't average points of every game when he was there. This is that same season, the exact same group, the exact same opposition, the exact same campaign, everything. He was getting in 1.3 points. Same with Sunderland. Exact same season he took over. Their average went from 1.2 from 1.38. Same with Palace, from 0.8 to 1.24. Everton, not a massive increase, but still was getting them more points in that exact same season. Now, we know that the story didn't end all the time, but it does sort of illustrate what he can do.
Yeah, he does his job.
That's why he's hired. That's why he's brought in, because he has an instant impact. Just like that. You bring him in because you know he gets results now. You're not looking at the long haul. He's not your 5-year plan, man. It's not what he does. No. Something for West Brom fans. I know you're keeping more of an eye on the comment section. I don't know if there are any in. But I took my number crunching a bit beyond. This was just because I was actually a bit fascinated by it. Nothing to do with Arsenal. But as I've got in this graphic here, so he averages 1.29 points in the rest of the season when he takes over teams. Of that, so if you apply that to, he came in around 30, so they played 13 games when he came in, so there are 25 left. If you times that average by 25, that gives you 32.25. If you add that 30, let's call it 32. If you add that 32 to the 7 they had when he took over, that takes them to 39 points. The last time a team got relegated with 39 points was 2011.
Wow.
So maths isn't everything. I know people go at me for saying your stats are irrelevant, they don't mean anything, blah blah. I get it, but they don't always tell the picture. Absolutely, they don't. But I do think it is interesting to break down the numbers, and actually, it can give you an idea of what you could realistically expect. So I do think it'll make West Brom tougher. I think they'll be very difficult to beat today. But I wouldn't be surprised if they stayed up either. He's Big Sam. That's what he does.
Facts. That's what he does. All right, James, let's move forward on to, thank you for that as well. Again, that is, boy, it's a big number crunching. You spent most of the day on that. But it is fascinating. And like I said there, when you was analysing the numbers, he does his job. He gets employed for a job. He does it. He normally does. He succeeds in it well. He's only there to keep teams up. And then, like you said, he's never there for the 5-year plan. I don't think he has. No, mate, do you know what? Maybe we might be doubting him. Maybe he might have it in his system. But I just know the teams and clubs understand that that's not what we need you for. We need you to just keep us surviving in the top flight. So fair.
He's a short-termist manager. This made me laugh. Comment from Scotty 22. Hey, I'm in isolation. I can't go out. What do you want me to do? I want to sit here and analyze Big Sam for the
isolation is just an absolute madness, bro. Like you just said there, you can't go anywhere. It's like prison. And even when we're negative, that's what do you know what? We're not going to talk about COVID. Not here. Can't deal with it. Let's move on to Arsenal and West Brom. Let's look at it. So the next graphic that we're going to pop up in a second, James. Is this your predict? It's not your predicted 11. Is it the 11 last?
It's yeah. Let's bring it up. Oh, sorry. So this was the 11. Apologies, not the clearest. This is now we don't have the old we don't have the tactical pad and Brennan and the team. But anyway, so they typically play I've made it like a 4-3-3 West Brom. It's more of a 4-5-1. The next graphic illustrates it better. That was the team that lined up against Leeds and lost 5-0. So I would be surprised if it stayed the same, but obviously it is hard to predict what he might go with. And then I've gone with the team for Arsenal that beat Chelsea, only because I assume Lacazette will be back in the team. Aubameyang might play. Martinelli might get rested. Who knows? Now, what I wanted to look at is where we can sort of have some joy here. Because they play, as I said, West Brom under Bilic did play the back three quite a few times. Give James a PS5 for that stat. That's a great comment. What I sort of looked at here is, if you're playing a back three, you'll know this, right? Okay, actually, I'm putting you on the spot here because hopefully it will kind of bring out what I'm trying to say.
Right, here we go.
If you're a striker.
Correct.
You're playing against a back three.
Correct.
How is that different to playing or back three, back five? Call it back five when the wing backs drop in. How is that different to playing against a back four?
If I'm a lone striker playing against a back five, three,
a bit outnumbered.
Yeah, that's the obvious. That's the obvious. But do you know what? I find it easier, obviously, playing against a back four. You find pockets of space easier. There's easier places to run into. In my opinion, it's easier to break down. When it comes to a three, obviously, you normally have a centre back that kind of can man mark you out the game, and then the other two will cover around. And then if you have five, obviously they take up the wingers. Or it's normally a front three nowadays. So again, with the fingers, the wing backs pick up these guys, and the one kind of sits on you. It is more difficult. But it depends on personnel. Really, it depends on personnel on it, how difficult they can make it. I mean, I'm intrigued to see what point we're alluding to here, though.
Mate, you said exactly what I kind of assumed. As I said, I've never played the game to a professional level like you, but watching it and watching it for years, you kind of pick up certain things. And I've always been of the impression that when you're playing against a back five, if you're the lone striker, that third centre back is more than happy to go with you.
Yeah.
Wherever you go to try and get the ball, wherever you run behind, whatever it is, they're more than happy to be pulled out of space. Correct. Because you've got a natural back four that can slot in and your bases are covered. And actually, when Arsenal were playing the back three in their cup runs at Wembley and the Community Shield, it didn't matter if Tierney went to follow Mo Salah in the Community Shield, or if who do we play in the final? Chelsea, or if Holding had to go and press Pulisic and follow him in field, because you had two natural other centre backs that come in. Now, Allardyce wants to get away from the back three. He's always been a back four man. So what you're kind of left with is something like this.
Sorry, James. Cecil James deserves a stat door. Sorry, it's true.
I love that. What you get here is, say Xhaka's on the ball. What I want to see is that movement we saw against Chelsea, where the wingers, or whatever you want to call them, the wide tens, whatever, were coming really in field, and Lacazette was dropping right to help Saka, and they were getting into these pockets. I do think that's where you're going to hurt West Brom best. I don't think spamming crosses into the box is going to do much. No. I think basically trying to get into those pockets is the first step. But if I just bring up this next bit here, how do you do that then? Well, what I fully expect when you're playing against that back four is for it to be very condensed. So I know we were saying that the back five, for example, allows one centre back to go with the striker. But what I actually will see highlighted in yellow is their wingers. And there we've got Diangana and Robinson. That's who started on the wing in the last game. Might be different today. What I expect is them to be dropping into fullback positions. And so what you need is a real overload from Martinelli and Tierney. Now, Martinelli can come inside and get into that space between winger and fullback, potentially, or even maybe fullback and centre-back. But the overlap of Tierney is where you're going to have most of your joy. But to do that, to get into a position where Smith Rowe is able to make those passes, or Lacazette pick it up, whatever, you've got to bypass that 3-man central midfield there. And I think that is the key, which is why someone like Granit Xhaka could be so crucial to winning today. The passes he was playing against Chelsea, we need more of that. Because, yeah, if you do that, it makes you dangerous against any team. You're right. You look disgusted by
yeah,
by
some comments. No, sorry, it's comments. I'm not even. I'm listening. Carry on. Sorry, I get.
No, it's fine. I said Xhaka could be really important, and I look in. You're like,
yeah. Do you know what, Jack? Listen, Jack, you may even watch this, bro. No hard feelings, but no, it's fine. It's fine. He's been playing well. I've got to take my hat off. I can throw my hands up. I've been wrong about him, but yeah, no, it's interesting to hear that you think he could be integral for today. But yeah, carry on. I want to carry on the rest of your point for this for Xhaka's.
That was pretty much it. I just think that ball being fed through between the lines of midfield 3 is going to be crucial, and that's not going to be easy. They won't give you much space. Their centre back might push up on Smith Rowe. Let me show it again here. They might get close to Smith Rowe. I'm not saying he's going to find it easy to get the ball, turn, and face the goal. I'm not expecting that, but if you keep trying it, something will come off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually think we're going to see a lot of what we saw in the first half against Brighton, and it really frustrated me that when teams are going to analyse us, they're going to say, look, they're now doing this thing where they've got a young creative midfielder, they've got Smith Rowe in there, they've got Martinelli. Just nullify them, and you should be able to hold off everything else. Everything else won't work unless it goes through them and it works. So what I panic about is what happened in the first half against Brighton is we don't have a plan B. And there was so much space in behind for the ball to go over the top, but we chose to ignore that because we kept sticking to the method of no, get the youngsters on it, they will get the goal. Which inevitably in the second half that did happen. However, a more prepared team may be able to stop that completely. So I just hope they realise that if it's not working through the middle, then maybe we can do the over the top if they leave space in behind. However, what you're saying about it's going to be vital for Xhaka to play well, or someone to get the ball through them lines is 100% key. But I believe the youngsters will have a field day against a back 4 over a back 3. But we'll see.
I do. The thing is, though, what I would say is the 2 wins we've had in the league have come against Brighton and Chelsea, whose managers are very strict about actually going for it. They want to play football. They want to take the game to you. Even Graham Potter rotated his 11 quite heavily to the point where actually Brighton fans were really quite disappointed with the team they got. And they still wanted to take the game to us, especially in that first half. They're not ones to really sit off. It's not, was it Chris Hughton, the manager before? It's not that Brighton. This is a new Brighton who want to play, who want to have the ball on the ground. And I think that suited us. It suited the kids. It suited the players we had in the team to have a more open, expansive game. I don't think West Brom will give us that. So it's going to ask a very, very different question. Someone who I think might benefit more from that is Granit Xhaka. Everyone knows what I think of Granit Xhaka, that in the long term, I don't think he's good enough. Fundamentally don't. But what he is good at is playing in tight spaces and having enough awareness to knock the ball on, keep the ball moving. Find a pass in some tight space sometimes. He does actually have that ability to do that better than people give him credit for. So that's why I think he could be quite crucial to today.
Okay. No, I agree.
Another thing that is crucial, which leads on to what you wanted to talk about in particular, is that first goal. How important that first goal is going to be.
Honestly, it's the most important. I'm just going to pop up a stat right here as we get into it now. So Arsenal have won 6 of the 7 games they've taken the lead. They've taken the lead in, lost the other, which was to Liverpool. So Arsenal have won 6 of the 7 games they've taken the lead in. I mean, that is it's essential for us to score first. It's vital. I believe Arteta's probably drilling it into the young players and the whole team actually. Like we We need to, no, I don't think he's even trying to drill in. We need to score first. We need to start fast. It's very evident that we play well when we start fast. It happened at United back in November. We started really fast. It was at them. We didn't even give them a second to even get into the game, and we come off with a win there. Same against Chelsea, and it was a bit slower against Brighton. But I expect today, especially against West Brom, no offense to the opposition, but I expect the players to start fast, especially if they've got a lot of the younger personnel on the field. And it's clearly shows that we do well when we score first and early. I'm going to now move on to this next stat here that says both West Brom and Arsenal, West Brom being 12 times, Arsenal being 8 times, have both failed to win a game when conceding the first goal this Premier League season. So yeah, I mean, again, it kind of just backs up the stat, James. I don't know if you want to say anything on it. We just got.
Mate, it's got like first goal wins written all over it. This game.
Yeah.
Because what West Brom did to Liverpool the other day, where Liverpool did score early, and West Brom, playing the way they did, found a way to get back into it. It absolutely shell-shocked me, because I was like, well, shell-shocked, Jesus, a bit dramatic. But I was like, wow, okay, I thought they were going to get murdered here. So I think what I find really interesting about this is, if we take the lead, right, okay, let me put it this way. We're going to find out what West Brom think about us in this game. We're gonna find out what Big Sam, whatever we think of Sam Allardyce, whether you rate him as a coach, whether you like him as a guy or whatever it is, right? We're gonna find out what one of the most experienced Premier League managers, someone who's absolutely been around the block and has proven that his method, his formula, and what he does, it works. We're gonna find out what he actually thinks about us. Is he gonna come out and attack us? Is he gonna press? Is he going to try and make life uncomfortable? Yeah. Or does he actually think, you know what, they've been through a bad run, but you know what, Mikel and those group of players, I rate them. And if I try and play, they'll kill me. We're going to find out a lot. And if we go a goal down, I think they'll tell us even more. Do they sit back and continue to defend and continue to basically keep themselves in the game and hope they get a moment? Or will they take the game to us more and open up and think, you know what, they're a bit toothless, I don't fancy them? It's going to be a fascinating game. I really do. I know we say that about most games, but
this one I'm riled up for. And I said this, I'm just going to watch it. I want to enjoy it. Hopefully we get a win. I think we should get a win today, and it will just continue our run. Then it'll be exciting to know that there might be players coming in as well. So I am very excited. We will move on to who do you think we should get in, James, because I know there's something you want to talk about during this window before we close off. But I also want to just quickly talk about record when scoring first. We looked at Arsenal's, but I'm talking about West Brom's here. In 3 games, when they score first, they've won 1, they've drawn 1, and they've lost 1. So to me, if they score first, I'm not too worried, if I'm honest, because the stats show like they might draw, they might even lose, they might even win. It's not very consistent in the sense of if they score first, they win all the time. Unlike us, when we score first, the stats heavily are on our side that we win. So realistically, we don't have to worry too much about them. We need to worry about ourselves actually in this performance. So, right, let's move on, James, to this January window is now open. Transfer Daily, guys, also now available every morning. Robbie gets up nice and early, gives you the latest news. I'm sure it'll be taken by other people soon, other fan channels, but make sure you check it out. We do, because I've got to give him credit. Robbie starts things, and you know what I mean, it's something like he did start Transfer Daily, and now the big platforms may be trying to take our ideas, but it's okay. Make sure you check it out. We'll be there with Transfer Daily Extra as well. Make sure you check that out, and also go on to AFTV.mobi app to do your AFTV picks, guys. Make sure you do it's a free questionnaire basically about the game. It ends at kickoff, so you haven't got long. Head over to it, win up to a share of £1,000 and a brand new iPhone. Whew! That was a lot of promo. But like now, January, James, I want to ask you, I know you're probably going to ask me as well, and people in the comments, let's do this. Who do we want to see come in? Who do we want to see come in? And I want realism, please. I don't want to hear no madness. Messi, them man, Ronaldo. I don't want to hear that. I want really. Obviously, we're gonna do this in Transfer Daily as well. But James, who do you think? Who would you like to see? I know you're a big fan of Wendia. Yeah, but who would you like to see come in? I'm mine. I'll get to after you. I'll let you go first. Go.
I've got a question for everyone first, which is, does a good run of games change your opinion? Do you know what I'm asking about? Change your opinion about what we should do in January. And the
Okay.
reason I ask is, I saw Rob Holding. There's rumors that he's going to be offered a new contract, and a lot of big Twitter accounts, a lot of fans, basically giving their opinion on it, and a lot of people said this is a really good move from the club. He's what's the word? He's dependable. He can step in. He's a squad player. I'll be honest, that surprised me. I really wonder whether that would have been the reaction back after the Everton defeat, whether we would have been sitting there saying, yeah, good move from the club, smart, all this. Sometimes even just a win or two can just change your perception of the club, can change where you think we are, what you think we need, everything. Football fans are fickle. It's the nature of what we are. We're fans in the end, right? It's the reason we're not employed to run the club. Not that a lot of the people at the club right now seem competent, but anyway.
So true.
Sorry, I've got to say it. What I'm trying to say in a very roundabout way is, if Holding's given a new contract, I like Holding. Like as in terms of personality and whatever, he seems a good bloke, and I think he's probably good for the club in the dressing room.
Yeah, he's good at the top.
Yeah. Do I think he's a decent squad player? Yeah. He's okay. He's performed in some cup finals for us. He's a decent footballer. But am I saying thanks to the heavens that he's signing a new contract? No, I'm not. And I'm really surprised that was. I'm not saying fans were doing that, but there was a lot of, I don't know. I mean, maybe in the end, fans should be positive and should be happy about these things. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess it led me to wonder, have these wins changed what you think we should do this January? And I'm aware we've only got a couple of minutes before we need to pass on to the starting 11 and Robbie. But for me, it hasn't. For me, actually, I still feel the same way as I did about the manager and the players. And nothing's changed with just 2 wins. If we go win the next 3, maybe I can put that couple months down to a big blip. But do you know what I mean?
Facts. A quick one. Really, I'm quite stubborn in my thoughts, so I kind of stick to what I've stuck from the beginning. I wanted a while ago. I still want a while. I like Buendia. I'm going to be honest. He wasn't my first choice, but once you started talking about him, looked into him a bit more, and realised he's the profile, which I'm going to speak about in Transfer Daily Extra. Really, he's a profile, I think, of midfielder that Arteta actually would benefit from getting. I think Isco, as much as I did want him at first, now looking at the profile player that he might be for Arsenal, I don't think he's the right one, So I think I'm going to stick with what I wanted before. I wanted Zaha before Pepe. I still want Zaha. Don't get me wrong. I'm aware it's probably not going to happen, but I wanted him way before Pepe and the likes of Willian came in. So it's just like a lot of my things haven't changed. I wanted Arteta to be in. As painful as it was, the defeats we went through, I was Arteta in for a long time. I still am Arteta in. I mean, given the players he needs, my opinion is quite consistent. I can admit when I'm wrong, or I can admit when I need to change. But right now, it's kind of all still the same. I have liked seeing other players, especially today. Obviously, Eze. I know people in the comments saying it. He had a great run. What a player! But if I'm honest, I knew about it. This sounds mad, but I've known about Eze for a while. But that's because he's part of the circles from around this area and stuff and players. But we were never going to get him. I didn't think of him being an Arsenal profile. But there's players that I like seeing that are Premier League proven. I'm more biased to see them come in over any other player. But what I'm also going to talk about in the Transfer Daily, which we're going to get to, is in the coming days, is I'm more interested in this window seeing players leave the club than joining. I think priority should be getting players out. Holding being offered another contract, no offense, it's all well and good. Like you've done so much for us over the time you've been here, but like you said, I'm not ecstatic about it. It's not something I'm jumping from the ceilings. It's not a sign the ting moment for me, unfortunately. But it is what it is. I don't run a club, so yeah. But I'm more inclined to see players that need to leave, go on loan, find other clubs. That's where my heart is at the moment. I haven't really got ideas of who I want to bring in. I think we need more than one midfielder if we get anyone this window. But getting one is good enough. I like the way, what I like to see, sorry, I'm rambling. I like seeing how Arteta,
you're right.
he's trying to implement a blueprint. He's trying to implement, I think he kind of comes to terms with like, let me just stick to what I want to do. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it does, at least I know going forward when players come in, they will slot right into what I've been trying to build. And that's what I think should happen. Right, that's me on that. That is.
Nah, look, and I know we've got to go. I just want to follow that up by saying, like, that's exactly it. I'm not sitting here saying I'm like throwing my toys out the pram because Rob Holding's getting a new contract, but it's why we mentioned this talking point, which is, have we changed our minds on what we need? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what it was for me. Like, we've won 2 games that on a good day I would back us to win. Does that change everything about what we need in the summer now? And suddenly, actually, you know what? Yeah, give Rob Holding a new deal. Yeah, you know what? Actually, this player's fine. Let's keep the. No, I don't want. It sounds weird. I just don't want the club to be making rash decisions like that during this period now. But then maybe Rob Holding's got a contract expiring soon. I've got to be honest. I need to double check on that. I'm not 100% sure, but just something I wanted to mention. Like,
yeah, it was a really good question.
Windows open now. But I don't care what we did the last few games. Doesn't change what we need. It doesn't actually. I've not changed my mind on how I feel about these players yet. I know that sounds harsh. I don't want to end it on. Let's end it on a positive. Let's go beat West Brom. All right, they're in good form. The youngsters are leading the way, but let's not get it twisted. Like, there's still a lot to do, and hopefully today we get another 3 points and we take another step forward.
Perfect, James. Thank you for that. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We have to dash. Oh, it sounds quite posh. We have to dash. We have to leave due to the start live. There will be a watch along today. See you guys in the comments. There will be a starting 11. There will be the aftermath show, same as usual, which is through this amazing app here, so you can see us from our homes as we are quarantining. But guys, I promise you, we'll be back. It's 2021. We'll be back very soon in the studio. All the influencers, all the opinions, all the meltdowns will all be back. So please stay tuned with us. Bear with us. It's a tough time because the Rona is about and it's spreading fast. So just please stay with us. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Let's hope we get our 3 points against West Brom. And don't forget to check out the AFTV Mobi app and go do AFTV picks. Go quickly, go do the questionnaire. You can win. It's free. Go do it before kickoff. Thank you all for watching. I'm going to quickly end with a lovely little advert from the Don himself. Take care.
Yo, your boy's gone and done it again. I've given away brand new PS5s. I've given away all the latest trainers. But look what I've got to give away this week. A brand new iPhone 12. This could be yours. All you got to do is go along to aftv.mobi, go to AFTV Picks and enter our free competition. Yes, it's free. Go and do that. Go head to head against me and the iPhone 12 could be yours. Get involved right now. Go to aftv.mobi. The link is in the description and